Lee! It's Tuesday, just me and you this week.
Yeah, no, Robbie's got the whole week off. Shorter week as well, it's bank holiday again. But yeah, straightforward week for Jack. He has the Colouring Pixels DLC to finish up, and then he's moving on to the Colouring Voxels DLC, so again, back and forth, but pretty straightforward. Now for me, it's a lot of little tasks, so we have some store page stuff. We have the Switch store pages for Wooloop. Is it Wooloop? No, it's not, it's Colouring Pixels. Then we have some Xbox store pages. We want to try and dive into that for Hexeed. And then there's a lot of little tasks as well for the public side. Just sort of escape room stuff and marketing, budgeting, that sort of boring stuff. So we'll see what we can work out with that. But yeah.
Okay, so I've been working on this image this morning, and one of the things that I really wanted to try do in this image is to try and do a very different art style than I usually do. Usually I do a lot of dithering and a lot of sort of like nice curvature lines. However, I want to do this one a bit more of a blocky style, something maybe like from like, if you think about Journey on the PS4, something a bit more simplistic in sort of the design, but very effective when put together. I think it looks really nice. However, when I came to the end of the drawing, which is about this step here, I realised that there's nothing really sci-fi fantasy about it at all. So I had to go back in there and sort of add a few big extra things here to make it look a bit more sci-fi, a bit more fantasy. I think these really did help. I essentially just added in a castle and some birds and stuff and make it a bit more medieval looking, and overall I think that really helped the design a lot more. I've also added in this sort of moon/sun sort of thing up here. Originally I was going to sort of do, you know, my traditional sort of circle of moons. However, since everything's sort of already hard-edged, I thought I'd just do a square. And, you know, it's quite simple and it looks a bit weird, but I think together it looks really nice. So I'm going to leave it there for now. If when Lee QAs the image and he thinks it looks a bit weird, I'll take it out and maybe change it with something else. But as for now, I quite like how it looks. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still continuing with the Sci-Fi Fantasy DLC. Now, this one is a really big image. I did do a small image yesterday, so I thought I would do a sort of a large one today. I did not expect it to be quite this large, though. So as you can see here, I'm doing a stained glass image. Everyone seems to like these sort of DLCs, so I thought I would do a new one for the Sci-Fi Fantasy Pack. And you can see here we've got a traditional sort of medieval-looking castle, or fantasy castle in the middle of this sort of mountain. I may have some things in the background as well. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. But yeah, as you can see, it's just massive. To sort of incorporate all the detail in the castle, obviously I had to sacrifice the size and just make it really big. But hopefully you guys like that. So I think it's 270 by 375. But yeah, this is probably going to take the bulk of my day. So I'm just going to sit down, knuckle down, and see how far I get with it. Because once the lines are done, the colours, hopefully touch wood, won't take too long.
I just got off the phone to Alistair, who is our sort of point of contact for Games Workshop. And yeah, that would open the box. So some cool things in here. We've got this sort of dreadnought. It's just a model, but it's just the idea of showing that there's customized options in all the models, which obviously from a business standpoint, that means you can do you know, repeat customers. Just because you bought a model doesn't mean you have to buy, you're not going to buy it again. And then just some starter kit sort of stuff, just showing the two different main versions of Warhammer. We have Age of Sigmar and you have Warhammer 40k. I think those are the two main selling ones. And then along with, yeah, sort of an introductory book that Jack's been looking over. But yeah, this black folder here, there's extra stuff in here, and that's for our next call, which is next week. We have a call again on Tuesday, and that's going to be for it's for a commercial proposal. So Alistair's going to be putting together more of a in-depth sort of proposal for our business type. He's asking lots of questions about who we are and what our plans are, and then he put together a proposal, and that's going to be dedicated more towards our company because different shops, different businesses will obviously be stocking different things. So yeah, pretty exciting, some cool stuff. He said these are ours to keep, we can do with them as we please. So I'm sure Jack will be fighting us to get some bits, I'm sure.
Okay, so I'm continuing on with the Sci-Fi Fantasy DLC, and we're almost there towards the end of the DLC now, which is quite sad. I've been really enjoying this DLC, so I'll be sad to see it go. It's been quite fun doing all these sci-fi and fantasy levels. This level is definitely the biggest level I've done so far. I think for my time at Torch Labs, I don't think I've rent this big. This level is actually 530 by 530, which will probably make it the biggest level in the game so far. I think the other one is 500 by 500, which was an R-place level. So this will be the biggest one. And I'm being very cautious on how I approach the level. Obviously it's a space scene, so typically those don't take me too long. But I'm typically going to avoid any type of shading, as I feel like that would be very frustrating to do at the size that it is. So I'm keeping all the colours blocky. I'm adding a few little shades lines here, but they should be okay as you're typically following the colours around anyway. But yeah, I'm being quite careful about it. And I think that what I'm going to do for this level so far is that I'm going to actually work on sort of doing a sort of what do you call them? what do you call it? Like when they go into warp, like a warp speed portal, I suppose you would call it. So if you follow my mouse here, the ship's going to be going in this way and leaving this part of the system. So hopefully it'll look pretty cool. And you can see here, I've tried to go for a bit more of a sci-fi and I'm going for a sci-fi / fantasy theme for once. So the sci-fi has a bit of fantasy with it, this weird little creepy planet dude over here. So I'm probably going to add a few more fantasy elements in here as well, try blend the two themes together. As for now, I've been working on more fixes for the levels, so I've been putting a lot into Unity. Nothing too much to show there, but you can see here, if I pull up the Trello board, there's quite a lot of levels in here now for Lead to QA. Honestly, it took quite a while to do. There's quite a few fixes in there I need to do. Not so much in terms of like design or fixes, just, you know, essentially just taking some of the color counts down because some of them are quite high. But yeah, hopefully Lee can get on that as soon as possible, and then this DLC will be all wrapped up. But I think for the rest of the day, I'm going to continue with the Voxels DLC, as we really get the store page out. So I'm going to knuckle down now and see if I can bulk out any more of this world. Hopefully you didn't hear that van go by. Okay, so you can see here we are making progress with the factory DLC. And like I mentioned last time, we have shifted to making it a bit more of a sci-fi theme. So instead of just making this sort of traditional an industrial factory, I'm making a bit of a Jaeger factory, so like big robots and Pacific Rim. And yeah, it's more fun to do, but it's quite challenging to make. As you can see, I've spent a lot of time making the mech itself. It looks really cool, really happy with the design, but now I'm sort of trying to bulk out what's going to be inside the factory. So essentially, I think I've already mentioned before, the rest of these sort of mini worlds here that'll contain 4 levels each will have a zoomed in look at certain areas of the factory. However, because there's not too much room in this one building, I'm not sure if I'll contain everything in this one little room. I may include, I think here what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually include like a sort of cargo factory, a cargo sort of bay here, so they can bring parts in for the robot, and I may add in some machinery around here, maybe assembling new parts. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to imply there's actually more to this building than more than meets the eye, just so it makes it a bit easier for me to actually work out what's going to go in the room. Otherwise, I'm going to try to fit in lots of things in this one room, which really wouldn't make much sense. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to split off some extra areas here. So see if I draw in something really quick, like this, and then it'll look like the actual building is continuing somewhere else. And I think that'll make it'll be able to make people realize that there's actually more to the factory than we can actually see on this little bit here. So yeah, I'm going to continue the design. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do on this section, but I'm going to finish off the actual sort of building of the robot, and then I'll see what I'm going to put over here.
It's been another day of a lot of admin, research, sort of getting ready for the next steps of the escape room sort of stuff. The idea being that I can give Rob the proposal, a plan, and then he can look through it, and then, you know, we can go ahead and start purchasing what we need to purchase to get things set up. But instead of just jumping in and going straight ahead with the next steps, which is like the room themes and the puzzle details, which obviously that's going to be a large bulk of the cost, is the actual setup. And so going through all the business financials and stuff like that. So who we're targeting, capacity, what's the benefit of the location. Obviously we can't change stuff like the location, stuff like that, but it's still good to write down, especially if you need to use this for any sort of proposals to external finances. It's not something that we're thinking about now, but you never know. And sort of going through filling this out, I did use AI to sort of generate the headings and what each section could be useful for. But then I went ahead and filled it in with all the information that I know about the local area. And more research, my head sort of like bursting now, a lot more information than I ever thought of regarding escape rooms. So obviously not just local escape room businesses. We have competitors in terms of other entertainment venues, which is very large in the Newcastle City Centre as well. So yeah, just sort of going into various different rabbit holes, learning about different parts of the industry, what we need to be considering, obviously staffing, how to get customers engaged and how to retain them. I haven't set up the financial plan yet. That's the last bit I need to do, but I thought I'll take a step back because this is quite an overarching financial plan, but business finances isn't something I'm well educated in, so I'm sort of going through a bit at a time. So going over the seasonal events, promotional offers, that's something Rob had on the checklist I think to look into, and yeah, putting down notes of what we could do to get different discounts, different seasonal events like we do with our digital games. Is there something we can host in escape room terms as well? It looks like something that could be looked into, and certainly another area of revenue. And as well as that, an estimated profit and loss. A lot of these numbers are ballpark figures because I'm not sure how much rent we actually pay. So I've chucked in £500 per month for now. That's probably way too high for just those 2 rooms, but it's a number for now that I can work with. Same with stuff like Marketing, that's a ballpark figure. Utilities and maintenance, I'm not sure on what we're going to be paying for all of these individual utilities, but putting in some ballpark figures just so we can actually go ahead and make profit and loss. And yeah, it's not looking too shabby, to be fair, because according to the estimates, again using a little bit of AI to generate the occupancy numbers and stuff like that, it's looking at 30% occupancy would be enough to just break even, a little bit of profit. So that's not a large request to sort of make 30% occupancy, 9 games a day. That's what if we're running our 7 days a week, 30%, that's 3 games per day, which is, I guess, a large number, but it's not something unachievable. So yeah, it's looking a bit more promising in that sense. And yeah, all I've got left now is the actual room theme, puzzle details, stuff like that. There is also one for marketing plan, so I'll make a page for that. We'll get that over here. But yeah, so I need to do some marketing plans as well. So there's still quite a lot to do. It's a very large task, but I think that most of it's done now. It's just now onto the more fun sections and sort of designing a theme, coming up with what we need for the puzzles, that sort of stuff.
Okay, so as promised, I did want to show off this drawing for today, which is Lee's cat Olive, which is in a nice little fantasy scene here. I did it, but I completely forgot to bring it in, and the background hadn't actually been done yet. So I was struggling to decide what I wanted to do for the background. I did want some form of ethereal cat god, but I thought I would just sort of try to blend it in with the sky and make it a big cloud of a cat. Obviously, it is still a god, but it's taking the form of a cloud. I think it looks pretty good. I think the colours look really nice, and overall I'm pretty happy with the design. I was thinking, Lee, that I didn't realise that all of Olive's markings, like her white markings on the bottom of her, so you can't really see them, but you can still see that distinctive little white mark that goes up towards her nose there. So I'm quite happy with that. I got that included. So hopefully Lee likes that one. But yeah, after the rest of the day, I've been working on something different, which is back to doing the pegboards for Cooking Pixels, as we're going to try to sell them in person. And this is how it looks. It looks really cool on the digital art, but I wasn't sure how it was going to look on Shoot Me Day when I actually created it in person. But if we have a look over here, I'll quickly grab it. It looks pretty good. I think it came out pretty well. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, and it looks pretty good. So yeah, I said pretty good twice, but it doesn't matter. There's not much to say. It looks cool. It's a dragon.
You have a Friday task of getting the announcement for the next Cooking Pixels DLC live. I think so yeah, the image isn't on the Steam card. I think Steam's being a bit funny to do with the images, so I've just submitted this separately on Discord here. But yeah, as well as that, the competition's live, so this will be live for another week after this video coming out. So if you're watching this before the 12th of June, you can come in the Discord, you can press this button and join the giveaway for your chance to win a key for the DLC as well. But yeah, other than that, today, I can't show you much of this next bit, but I can probably zoom in, just hide a bit. This is, after getting burnt out with the escape room research tasks the past couple of days, I moved on to the Hexseed on Xbox stuff, and as you can see here, this is just the main store page, and I've got English done up here at the top here. And the reason it's taking a bit of time is because there's a lot more assets I need to make, so I've gone ahead and made all the various one shells for Xbox, and it's just English. Most of the languages are using the same, but languages like Japanese, Korean, different alphabets, I need to make different versions. But yeah, big process, because as you can see here as well, I need to do this for all of the Year 1 DLC, as well as putting in all the details and all that sort of stuff. So it'll take a bit of time, but yeah, I want to get through at least the Hexseed main store page and get that ready to be potentially sent off as well. Another update, something we did last week actually, let me have a look when I booked it. Yeah, 22nd of May, which was, yeah, last Friday. Part of creating our own escape room, we want to do a bit of market research. I learned a fun term from one of the experts you spoke to. I think it's called Service Safari, where the idea being we already want to look at escape rooms, just sort of get the idea and see how they do it. But the idea of a full service safari is you record the entire process from start to end. So including how did you find out about the particular escape room. So I've made a big list of notes in my book about how I Google for escape rooms. This is the top option, etc., etc. And then we've actually booked an escape room. So me and my fiance are going to be doing this one tomorrow at 2:30. I don't think I have any footage of it because we'll just be playing the game and making notes. But yeah, just sort of tracking all the emails, how they keep in touch, how the customer service is being. And then when we get there, we'll be going through the whole process of checking how they, how they greet us, how the game plays, how they interact with us, etc. And then what they do after the game. Is there any more add-ons, any more retention that they try and do, and then once that's done, are there any follow-up emails from them as well? And then yeah, just sort of making a note of everything that happens, and then what we like, what we don't like, what we think we can improve, or what we think we need to be utilizing as well. But yeah, so far pretty good. The format of the email looks a bit weird. I'm not sure if it's just the app I'm using, but I like the fact they've got the map on the email as well, so you know exactly where you're going. And yeah, it's all pretty good so far. I'll try this tomorrow, and next week I'll let you know how it went. Jack.
Hello.
It's Friday.
Me and you. Yeah, just me and you. It's Friday. All done. So yeah, by the time this video comes out, I don't think there'll be any releases this week, but the week after will be the Sci-Fi Fantasy 2 DLC, and the week after that will be the Colouring Voxels one. So quite a fun packed back-to-back will be quite good. And then yeah, I think that's about it for now, I think. But yeah, thank you to all our Discord members, our Patreon members as always, and everyone who joined the stream for me today, which was last week for you, but doesn't matter.